Hi, I'm Paul Seal from coachshare.co.uk. Welcome to this third episode in this new series where I show you how to build a website with Umbraco 13. In this episode, we're going to have a look at the templates. So we're going to start off by downloading the Bootstrap theme. It's called Freelancer and it's from Start Bootstrap. We will then put it onto our templates. We will split it up into partial views. I'll tell you about those. We'll have it into these individual different partial views. We'll then have a look at what view imports are. We'll create some dictionary values as well. So this will give you an idea about the templates. So let's get started then. So I'm going to copy this. Going to open my profile here. So this is the website that we've been working on. I'm just going to go to this and consent to that. Now we want to do the download. So free download. Close that. So now I've downloaded that and here I can see it in the folder. So if I extract all into this location, you will see that you've got this here. So we've got an index file, an assets file folder, a CSS folder, and a JS folder. So if we can try just opening this, and then this is what the page looks like. So it's pretty good. It opens it in Chrome, and that's what we downloaded. So that's our starting point. So remember, we're going from a clean install of Umbraco. We want to make this, which is just an HTML file, which is static, meaning it doesn't change. We want to make that into an editable website. So this is a starting point. We already installed Umbraco. So the next stage is looking at the templates. We had a little bit of fun with templates on the last episode, and where we had a look at how to put this image in and how to change the gradient, things like that, adding properties and things. So we're going to take these files and we're going to put them into our folder. So the folder that we need is with wherever we've got our code repository saved, we go into the project and then we look for the wroot folder and then we can paste it in here. So that's our index file, assets, CSS, and JS. So to start with, what we could do is we could just reload this here. And then if we go to /index.html, let's have a look to see. So it's actually serving out that content straight away. So all we did was literally just add that to the page. So that's pretty cool. That was on our Umbraco site. And this location here, the wroot, www root, this is where static files go. So that's why this has worked out, because it can serve these files that are static from here. One thing to do is we want to take this, instead of using the index.html, we want to put it into our main template. So if we go back into Umbraco and have a look at, just reload, have a look at settings, go to templates, and we've got homepage. So what we'll do is we will just create a new template and call this main and save that. And then we will make homepage be a child of main by clicking on that. So if you look homepage, main homepage here, if we just do it again, clicked on that, and then we chose main. There we go. So homepage is a child of main, and that if we then do render, I can't remember what it was, render body, I think it is, and then save, then this should still work the same as how it currently was. So it should still serve everything like that. And just to show you the concept of this, taking it from its parent one, I don't need the code editor at the moment. We can just do this within Umbraco. So what I want to do here is just put something in like hello world again. So yeah, we'll save that. So now we refresh this And you'll see that the H1, which was set on the main template, is actually being rendered on this page, even though this page, if we go into content and go to home and info and we have a look, is actually using the homepage template. So it inherits from that. So everything, if we have a look at this again and we go to settings, everything above it, this is below it. So that was above whatever goes inside. So that'll be the homepage content goes in there, and then this is below. So let's have a look at this again. And you can see that. So hello world, this is below. So you get the idea. So what we want to do is we want to take the contents of that index.html file, open it in Notepad++, and here it is in Notepad++. So we can just take the full thing, copy that, and then paste that into our template. And then I think what we'll do from this point on is actually start editing it in our code editor rather than in the browser editor. So if we just put this in here above the render body, we take the render body, cut that, and then we delete that. So now we will just want to put the render body at the point where it wouldn't be part of the main template. So we can see that we've got a body opening tag, the HTML body, and then we've got a navigation, and then we've got a header. So I think really at this point here, where we've got the navigation, after the navigation, that will be where we want to render the body. So if we just do save there, and then if we take this code, we've got the about section, contact section, and then we've got the footer. So we'll cut that. So we want to have, I'm just going to keep that in I'm going to save that, and then I'm just going to keep in the clipboard what we just cut. And then if we just go to this and now refresh, what you see is we've got the navigation, we've got our image thing, and then we've got the footer. So let's go back to here, and then we'll go to our template for the home page. And then instead of all this, we can just paste in what we cut and had in our clipboard, and then do save. And now if we refresh, you'll find that we've got the full page already in here. So let's move over to our code editor. So I'm using Visual Studio. And then we have a look at these templates. We've got a home page, and here you can see what we pasted in. I like to use Control KD, and that formats the document for us. And then in our main, this is the document that we've got as well. So what we want to do next is we want to just chop all this up and put it into partial views just to organize it. The idea is that we are putting it into smaller pieces to make the template a lot simpler, and then we push that out to have specific roles for specific things. So this is where we're going to bring in the partial views. So if we have a look in the tree, we can see we've got a views folder, we've got a partials folder. Also, a tip for you here, if you want to see all the files in the solution, you can click on this, and then so you can see all the invisible files as well. So yeah, we've got views. This is where the templates and partial views live. Then we've got partials. So inside partials, we want to create some. And what I like to do, is just drag and copy one of these. So you could copy any of these really. I'm going to copy that one, and I'm going to control and then click and drag into partials. So now that's created one called area. And in there, I just want to call this header. And that was just a quick way of creating this file. And then we can just delete the contents of that. So we've got that file created. And in that file, I want to go into the main, and I want to take what I think, actually it's in the home page, what I think is the header. So we should see a header semantic element. So I'm going to cut that, save it, and I'm going to go into the header.cshtml, save that as well. So that's our header. And then in here, to make sure that we don't lose that reference to it, I'm going to do at html.partial async, and then I'm going to just put in header. It may or may not work. We'll soon find out. I'm going to click on the arrow. You can also click on the hot reload button as well. Depends on what editor you're using. So now if I have a look at this, hopefully we will still have a header. So the header isn't being rendered. So I'll just need to double check with the solution that I've already created. Yeah. So because we're using partial view async, we need to reference it slightly. So it's actually, we need to put the await in front of that and then do html.partial async and then look for a header like that. And this is complaining about the model there, and it's upsetting everything down here. And that's because we are using models builder in memory mode. So it doesn't recognize that class, and that's upsetting the whole file. So try to not be distracted by that. If you want, it might actually be better to go to the browser for this. In the next episode, we'll talk about document types, and it won't be a problem for you on that one because we'll address the models builder issue. So if I just refresh this page, you see that await html.partial async and then the name of that partial view. So now if we reload, the header's back. So we've got the header. We can have a look at the template again. So we've got a portfolio section. So let's take that and cut that and do the same idea. So we'll just type in await html.partial async and then do portfolio. I'm sorry about the red lines here. And then if we control click that, drag it up to partials, that's created a copy. But it did it in a way that we still keep our clipboard with whatever we just cut out of there. So that's why I like to do that trick. Shout out to Tony Meaden who taught me that one. A great developer. One of my previous roles. Really enjoyed working with Tony. So yeah, that's portfolio created. So let's just try the hot reload, see if that works. Hopefully it does. Yeah, it does. So that's still loading in properly. And just to check that that's actually working, one thing that we can do is just put the word test in here, run that again, and then have a look. And we can see that the word test has come through. So we know that what we're working on is actually having an effect. So that's good. So we're slicing up this template, this main and homepage templates. Now we've got about. We'll cut that out. We'll do the same trick again. Drag that up to partials. Control and drag, that is. Rename this to about. Go into that. Control A, Control V. Save. Now we've got the about section rendering from it within there. Reload the page again. And the about section, has that gone? It looks like it might have gone. What did we do wrong? Oh, we've not rendered it yet. So copy this and just call about like that. Now, just so you know, we will be looking into something called view components further on in the course. But for now, I'm just trying to keep it simple, just to slice these things up, but without getting too complicated. So we'll reload the page and we should have the About section back. Then we've got a contact form. So we're going to cut this, just following the same principles. And we're going to do the control and drag up to partials with the F2 to rename, and then type in what we want to call it. Now that could be called contact, and I think on mine I call it form. It doesn't matter. You can call it what you want really, and then just replace the contents of it with the actual HTML that was for that section. So that will be for the contact form. So now if we go onto the home page, just make sure that we are calling that. Update that to contact, then hot reload. So that contact form is still there. So now all of a sudden our template has gone to being rather small. So it's just calling out these things. And later down the line, what we'll do in this course is, instead of having one for each of these, a header, a portfolio, about, a contact, actually they will be rendered as part of the block grid. So we'll just have one thing that we call to render the block grid. And then if we go to the main template, we can see that we've got some other things in here as well. So we've got metadata here. So we can take this metadata and we can cut that, and then we can do @await html.partial async metadata, and then we can again follow the same pattern. Control, drag it up to there, call this metadata. Control A, paste in the metadata. And now if we go to the main template, that's all done, metadata. Then let's have a look down here. We've got a link to the CSS styles. We'll put a slash in front of the CSS so that it makes it relative to the root of the site. Also, we will do this little trick that I learned as well, so that it will append the version of the file. So it does a hash of the file, and it basically adds that as a query string onto the reference of the CSS file. So when this updates, if it changes, it will change that query string, which will make browsers update to take the latest version of it, which is quite a nice little trick that I learned. And then we want the navigation. Let's just, again, what I like to do is just check each of these small things, just check that that worked for that section. So we've got the navigation still, so it's not been lost. So that's good. And so it wasn't the navigation, it was the metadata. We still got this browser title up here. We can check that that's worked by updating this and just saying test again, and then reload that and refresh. And we should see in here, yeah, it's got test. So we know that that is working. Again, we can make all of this dynamic based on the content of the current page that we're on. But for now, we don't need to do that. We are just simply slicing everything up. It's quite therapeutic, actually. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I enjoy this part a lot. So I'm going to cut the nav. I'm going to do the same thing again. And then we'll call this main navigation. Save that, and then we will do the same trick. Rename this main navigation. Save that. That's another one done. And then we're nearly there. So let's go back to main. So that's the main navigation taken care of. And then we've got the footer to take care of. And the footer can have the copyright section as well. So let's cut that out, drag that up, rename that, call it footer, and make sure we go into that, update it, save it, and in the main we will update this. We'll just copy that one, paste that in there. Oops. Call that footer, and then reload. So if we scroll down, we've still got a footer and the copyright below. So that's good. Again, we've sliced all that. Now, these are modals. So these modals open up when you click on these things here. Now, we're not going to keep this. I don't like a scrolling pop-up modal. I think they're a bit weird. So these are actually going to become image links that go through to the other pages, like you've seen already on the demo site that I built, and that's what we're going to end up with. So we will put these in the partial view for now, just to keep the functionality, but we will actually be removing those. Yeah, so that's the last one there. So I'm just going to cut that out like so, Control X, and then we can do the same thing. Oh wait, HTML partial async, and we'll call this portfolio modals for now. And then we will create another one of these, rename that, call it modals, double click, open, paste that in, save. So we've got the reference to it in main. That's going to render it. So that should all be good. And again, we've got a local JavaScript file, so we will just put that / in front of it to make it be relative, so that if you're on other pages further down the tree, it's actually relative to the root of the site rather than just relative to the page you're on. And I'll put the append version equals true again, so that it'll update if you're using a different some different content in there. So that's our main template ready, and that's it all sliced up into different partial views. So we've got it all nice and neat and tidy, and you can see how it's starting to take shape now. This is all editable. Everything you see on the page now is all in different parts of this and ready to be worked on as part of the main project. So let's just have a look to see what else we wanted to cover in this episode. So we have downloaded the theme from Start Bootstrap. We've created the templates. We have created all of the partial views. So let's just have a look at something called view imports. So over here, one thing you might notice is that we've got a using here of published models. If we copy that and then we just have a look in view imports, we've actually got that using in here as well, using Umbraco CMS web comment. If I just paste that below it, it's the exact same one. So we don't need that. So that also means that that doesn't even need to be in the template. So we'll save that, and it wasn't even being used on that main one. If we go into the homepage one, the reason it gets used is because it's we have it slightly different. We're saying using content models equals. So that's a C# thing where we can actually name a reference to a namespace. So we're calling using content models. So what I'll do is I'll cut that out of here. I'll put that into the view imports. And instead of having just published models like that, I will have it like this. Yeah, let's save that. So now, wherever we have that reference in our templates, like in the home one, where we had content models, we now can remove that. And again, this is complaining up here, but that's only because we don't have models builder set properly yet. So let's reload this. Hopefully it doesn't break the page, but if it does, we'll attack that and we'll fix it ourselves. But it's not broken anything. So that's good. What else can you do with the view imports? Well, let's have a look. You can register things called tag helper. So Umbraco comes built in with Smidge, and Smidge is used for minification and bundling of things like JavaScript and CSS files. We're not going to use Smidge in this, but we will use another tag helper, and we will add that in here. You can also add references to things like services. So maybe you have like a search service and you want to be able to access that within a view. You could do like at I data service, data type. I don't know, some using, I can't remember, no, at inject. That's it. I data type service. It might not know what that is. I might need to add a using. If I do control dot, yeah, Umbraco CMS core services, and then do data type service. So if you ever need to, if you have your custom service or anything like that, and you need to use it within a view, you can either put this in at the top of that view, or if you always use your service in all your views or a lot of views, what you can then do is you can put it in this view imports. Then all the views that use this will be able to access it. So now in here, I could do var dt equals data type service, and I've got that already, an instance of that data type service already there, and I can just use it then. I'm not a fan of putting logic like that in the views, but I just wanted to show you that you can also inject services if you needed to. So I'll delete that because we don't need to keep it. So yeah, that's the view imports, and as we go along, we will keep our views tidy and add things into the views just to tidy up the project basically. But I just wanted to let you know about that view imports file there that lives within the views folder. And let's just have another look now if there's anything else. So yeah, dictionary values. So one thing that you might have noticed on this project is that we have some dictionary values. So if I go into Umbraco and log in, we'll have a look on the actual example project, what dictionary values we've created, and we'll just create some as well on our project. So we've got contact form dictionary items. Well, we can do that later when we get to the contact form, but we have a copyright statement. So let's have a look. This copyright is down here. So on our little project at the moment, the copyright says your website 2023. So it'll be good to update that copyright. Now, people say different things about the year that you should put on your copyright. So it's up to you how you want to do it. But what I'm going to do on this project is I'm just going to go into partials, go to footer, and then I'm just going to get it. I'm going to say delete that bit there. And then I'm going to do for the year, I'm going to do datetime.now.year, which I quite like. Let me show you this actually. So this is another thing about .NET and dynamic websites. If I put datetime.now.to long time string, and then we save and we render that out on the page. Let's just have a look. I just find it fascinating. So that's got the current time, and it's actually got the seconds as well. So if I refresh that, so if someone came and visited my site, they would see the exact date and time on the server with the seconds. I mean, it's pretty pointless. So what we'll do is we'll just put in the year, and then we can reload that. There we go, your website 2024. Now, some people say, oh, you should do it with the year that it was from. So you could do 2024 to, and then the year, which looks a bit odd because actually it's the same year. But you could have some logic that works it out. Oh, yeah, well, if it's the same as that, just render that once. But you could cheat and say, oh, actually, it's been going since then. I mean, it's all pretty pointless. I just put the year. So I would do that. And then you've got this bit of text still that's hard coded. So what we like to do is we like to use the Umbraco dictionary. So you can do this. You can do at umbraco.get dictionary value like that. And now if you could do control dot on this, you should be able to. It says, I don't recognize where this is coming from. Can you give me a clue? So you might actually need a reference to, maybe it might be an extension method. So if we go into the view imports on here, I think what it is this one. So we might need to go to view imports and then just do Umbraco extensions, but it looks like it's there. So I wonder what extensions it is, why it's not liking it. The type or namespace. Let's just try it again. Oh, maybe. No. Let's try it again. So at Umbraco dot extensions dot get. Wow, this is odd. So what I like to do is always keep these errors in. So any sort of issues that I have, I like to leave that in so you can see that yourself, and you can see that actually it's not always coming out smelling of roses. And we're going to have to solve a problem here and see why this is the case. Now, I think I know now. So I can't just use at Umbraco because this doesn't know about it. So what I think I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put something in at the top of this to tell it that it needs to inherit an Umbraco view page. And with that, it gives it some context about Umbraco. So it gets access to the Umbraco helper. So now we can do at umbraco.get dictionary value. And then in here, we can do copyright statement. And then what we can actually do is put in a fallback value. So I'm going to say Paul Seal. I'm going to say copyright. There we go. Paul Seal. So now I've got a dictionary value that I'm going to look up. And if I can't find that dictionary value, then I'm going to render this on the template. So if we go back to here and reload, you can actually see that it's done it. But we don't even have the dictionary value. So let's put the dictionary value in. So if we go to translations and we click on this create, and then we get that key, copyright statement, create that, and then hello world, and then save. We can go back to the front end, reload it. Oh, and it's not actually. Oh, I'll tell you what, have I done it in the wrong site? Copyright statement. Yeah. No? Am I? Oh, I think I'm looking at the wrong front end. Let's just reload this. Yeah, there we go. Hello world 2024. So if I go, I think I just got mixed up with my pages. Yeah, if I refresh this, there it is. So what we can do is we can just say copyright Paul Seal and then 2024. And the good thing about that is if you do have a multilingual site, you could have different language variations. So maybe you want it in English, you want it in French as well. So this could say something, the French translation of it. So you just have that one key, and then when it's rendering it out for the French people, it will render it out with the correct values. And also the main thing is just to get things off the actual hard-coded onto the templates. So that's a copyright statement. And then I think what we need to do as well is there was one for the menu as well, main navigation. Yeah, the word menu up here. So again, what we can do is we can just copy that reference that was in the footer. Just copy that. and then go to the word menu in here, and then just put menu as the fallback and menu as the value. And again, it's not liking that. So if we go to the top, copy the @inherits Umbraco view page. Now it's saying, oh yeah, I get it. You're on Umbraco view page, so you've got the Umbraco helper. So that's fine. I understand what that is now. So now that menu thing, so if we did F12 and we went to mobile view, it says menu there. So if we wanted to test that looking like something else, we can create one called menu, and then we can say testing. And then if we go back to this, F12 on it, mobile view, F5, scroll down. Oh yeah, it's there, testing. So you can see that that actually works. So we'll just put that back to menu. So let's have a look then. I think we've covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. We've looked at what templates are. When we created the homepage before, it automatically assigned the homepage template to the homepage document type. But you can, one thing to know, one thing that I'll cover when we create the document types, I'll show you how you can map the relevant templates. So in theory, you could have one document type that could have 2 or 3 different template variations, and that might be quite handy for you as well if you want to make your sites differ, or your pages differ. Maybe it's the same page type, but actually you want it to be a different template layout. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you liked the video. If you do, please click on like and subscribe to the channel and watch all the other videos. Also, don't forget there is a GitHub for this. So I've updated to the end of episode 1 and 2, I think. There wasn't any code in episode 1. So there's one tag, and that is called number 2. So if you were starting from the last episode, you could with the installation of Umbraco, but there wasn't really that much in that episode. There's a lot more in this episode. So yeah, you can do that. Also, don't forget to say hello, sign the guest book, let me know if you're watching along and where you're watching from. That would be really nice to find out, and let us know how you're getting on. If you want to say thanks, you could buy me a coffee. There's no obligation to do that. All these videos will be free on YouTube, but sometimes people want to, so that's where you go, codeshare.co.uk/coffee. And thanks to anyone who does that. And I think that's everything on this episode. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks a lot. Bye.